The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Team-Up Bundle is selling for less than the total value of the cards inside it, and that's the least interesting thing about it. Welcome to Absolute Cardboard, and today we're taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Team-Up box set. This is a bit different from the normal Magic the Gathering offering, as the prime draw of it is that it's largely intended to be played cooperatively. You can play the pre-constructed decks in here normally in the free-for-all style, but that's not really what it's for. But only the cleverest of us will note that the team-up is right in the title. We'll start with everything that you actually get with this offering, starting with the box, which is really nice. It's just thick cardboard like you might find on an average board game, but the art on the front as well as the lining, the inside art is just great. And once we open the box up, you'll get a rulebook which explains some of the nuances of the cooperative experience and this folding cardboard token life counter thingy. You are meant to tear off the boss life counter part, which is this shredder area, then punch out the various +1/+1 counters, pizza slices, and turtle shells. These will cover just about everything you need for play. That being said, these things fucking suck. The +1/+1 counters are whatever. I feel like they're just there because there's empty space on the cutout board, but this turtle shell and pizza slice method to track life is just awful. When you think about it, a flimsy piece of thin cardboard resting on another flimsy piece of thin cardboard is most assuredly the best way to track life. The Boss Life Total Tracker has spots for 1 to 40, which may not even be enough, as there are situations in the boss system that could easily push the life total over 40. But that doesn't even matter because out of the box, there's no way to track the boss team life total. Like, seriously, I guess you could probably use an extra pizza slice, but that doesn't make a ton of sense thematically. And if the assumption is that you need 4 player life counters, you wouldn't have the extra pizza since all the life counters would be in use, which makes the design of this almost entirely moot. It does, however, have super cool art, but we'll get more into that later. And while not exactly a component, there are 4 half-deck boxes included, and these are fine for serving as impromptu trash cans for your newly punched cardboard crap. You also get 4 play boosters of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. You can add the cards to your decks as you see fit, or just open them up in a nose-bleeding booster frenzy like I did. Now we get to the meat of the product, the cards. There are 3 different categories of cards: tokens, normal Magic cards, and boss cards. The tokens are a handful of the normal Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tokens. Use them or combine them with what cards you already got from opening your Turtle cards, or just use dry erase cards. There's nothing major here, no fancy versions or anything. The normal cards are split amongst 4 different 60 card decks. That's right, 60. Now, you might think that Wizards would make a set like this targeting people already playing their most popular format, which also happens to be multiplayer. But in this case, no. Now, if you are a Commander player, don't fret too much. I do have some ideas on making that work, and we will get to that later on in the video. The Team-Up Bundle comes with 4 decks, all mono-colored, with an occasional hybrid card mixed in, with each deck representing a featured turtle. Now, these figurehead cards are the only rares or higher in the bundle that are not randomly from the included packs. And each deck has 3 of them. They are the featured turtle, the support character, and then one that's both of them combined like a conjoined twin of intellectual property. The total price breakdown of the cards is here, and wait a minute, what the fuck? Are you printing money when you buy this thing? Wait, hold on. Okay, so these are all the median market prices taken from TCG Player on March 18th, and the cost comes to about $52.50 before shipping and taxes, and that's obviously USD. Where the Team-Up Bundle can be gotten for about $50 on Amazon using this affiliate link. And the cost of those singles isn't even including the 4 booster packs or the box or the boss cards or anything like that. Now, prices will adjust over time, and it seems like the price is mostly based around Mona Lisa Ever Adaptable, Michelangelo on the Scene, Raphael Tag Team Tough, and April O'Neil Human Element. And these are all cards that Commander players will want, and that will generally inflate the prices. So if these cards are your bag and you are going to pick up a few packs anyways, this bundle could literally be a steal. In fact, you're probably losing money by not buying it, especially through this affiliate QR code link. I'm not going to break down the financial value of the boss cards for 2 reasons. A, I don't know that they're going to have any long-term value outside of being in the deck in totality with each other. And B, since there isn't much like this in Magic's history, any pricing this soon after release, I don't think it's going to be super reliable. Now, with that said, let's go over what is actually in the boss card decks. And there are 2 decks, bosses and events. Bosses stay in play for a time and have a kind of larger overall game effect, while events will either be immediate effects or they'll put creatures into play for the heroes to deal with. The bosses are 10 of the more notorious turtle villains, each with their own special effect. The event deck is a combination of 17 events and 10 creatures, the creatures being foot soldiers, big fatties, a standard 3/3, and a 2/1 flyer. There's a wide range of effects in the event deck, from destroy all turtles to the heroes lose 3 life and the bosses gain 3 life. And if the heroes lose 3 life sounds weird, that's one of the rules of the co-op experience. All players share 1 life pool. Now before it gets too weird, let's take a step back and go over exactly how the co-op mode works. Loosely, you'll need to beat 3 waves of bosses. Stage 1 has 1 boss, Stage 2 has 2, and Stage 3 has 3. They hang out in an area just up around here, and just below them will be the boss battlefield, which is basically a giant row. Creatures will go on that battlefield, and the events that you have used will go to a boss graveyard just next to the event deck. The boss team and the hero team will each have their life total set to 20 for the base game. To start, just reveal the first boss. The hero team will go first and draw a card on their first turn. And I would strongly suggest playing fast and loose with the rules here. There's nothing in the rules covering the stack or priority as it relates to co-op, so just let it breathe. Allow some takebacks, let people plan openly and rearrange attack phases. I mean, you're all working towards the same goal. You all attack at once, you get your second main phase at once, you get the idea. For the boss's turn, the boss untaps each permanent it controls. It then takes 2 actions, and those actions are you take a card from the event deck, reveal it, and resolve it. Then do that for 1 more event card. Creatures will go into the battlefield and events will just resolve their effect. It's a fairly simple process, though certain bosses can add more actions or complexities to the action step. Then the boss goes to combat, where each creature it controls attacks the hero team based on the standard summoning sickness rules. The players can block as if they were essentially a single player. Now when the boss's team life reaches 0, remove the current boss from play, reveal the next 2 boxes as you go on to stage 2. Resetting the life back to the starting total, and continuing until you go through enough stages that you run out of bosses in the boss deck. There are a couple things and some rules that cover edge cases, but that's more or less how the co-op mode functions. And to test the co-op experience, I took it to my game day. We ran through 3 iterations of it. Now the rulebook gives you recommendations for harder variants, so we decided the first would be the introductory basic level, the second would be slightly tougher, and the last would be the toughest setting we could implement. Now, we are all experienced game players, and myself and 2 others have played Magic the Gathering extensively at certain points in our lives, and we won every game handily. We did make a few mistakes regarding the rules, as any kind of new game does, but it was a very fun time, if a bit low level for experienced Magic players. There were a few complaints and critiques that were kind of universal regarding the gameplay in the individual decks. Like, first, since none of the boss creatures could block, all you really had to do was get big creatures and attack. The Lorcana co-op experience Palace Heist has measures to prevent this kind of straightforward strategy, with locations acting as barriers to combat rushing, but the Turtle Team-Up Bundle does not. Most of us also thought the player decks didn't really do anything. More often than not, players would get down to just 1 or 2 cards in hand and just be playing off the top of the deck for the rest of the game, and coming from Commander, where there's a lot of engines and stuff like that, it's a little disappointing. And I think the biggest problem was that players of a given deck, let's say Raphael, didn't actually play Raphael at all in the first 2 games. And that was the case for 3 of the 4 players, and that's kind of just RNG that comes with Magic, but it's still kind of a bummer. So in the 3rd game, I suggested a Pseudo-Commander setup where you could pick a face turtle and have him as your commander. And that was much more interesting and engaging for, I think, the entire table. There were also some deck-specific issues, like the Donatello deck having a lot of tapping effects, but since the bosses can't block, a good chunk of that arsenal felt null, and the Michelangelo deck being able to make super crazy big creatures while everyone else was just kind of like 2/2s, 3/3s, and it felt like Michelangelo could kind of solo the board. And I do occasionally enjoy a powered down game of Magic every once in a while, but this might be a bit too powered down for an experienced gamer. And if you are a player who happens to like lots of spells and niche clever interactions, this may also be a bit below your enjoyment level. But if you happen to like turning creatures sideways and blocking, this is really fun. But the ultimate question becomes, should you team up with your money and turtle down with this offering? First, if you are the type of person who sees the market value of the singles and the packs and realizes this is basically free if you wanted those cards anyways, it's obviously a no-brainer. If you're watching this a year after release, do the current math and go from there. Turtle Team-Up is also a solid way to teach people Magic the Gathering. It's relatively simple, the bosses and event cards still gives you a feel for the big swings that can happen in more advanced games of Magic without putting the burden on new players to figure that stuff out. And playing cooperatively is a valid way to explore strategies and decisions in the open with new players. The most common reason people will probably buy this is that it's a fun, lighthearted thing to do with people who are into the Turtles or just kind of nostalgic for them. Universes Beyond continues to be hit or miss, but it is a strong gateway drug to the drug addiction we call Magic the Gathering. And lastly, this product is for me, but maybe not for the reasons you think. See, when I look at this package, it screams Commander Battle Box. And it's maybe not that, but what I'll actually use from this is the boss deck and some of the cards, and actually the box itself. As soon as I saw those crappy life counters and life trackers, I immediately already thought about upgrading the components, and that's exactly what I did. I started printing some life counters for the players, then realized the life pool is shared, so I printed way more counters than I needed. I cut apart the boss life tracker for the art and used my extra Navy cow lid to make this cool boss life tracker that actually goes as high as I might need it and has all the parts already there. And if you like this life counter, I'll have a link to Navy Cow's storefront on Etsy, or it'll be in the description below. And then I moved to the internals and found that you can take 2 boulders, open them up, use the top and the bottom each to make the 4 compartments to hold the decks. But I'm kind of what you might call extra and decided to 3D print my own insert, with 4 slots for 4 100 card decks, a slot for the life counters, and a compartment for the boss cards, any general turtle tokens, and another compartment here with a tray for dice and whatever you might have. And yes, you heard right, 100 card decks. My long-term plan is to make each deck into a commander deck featuring the face turtles for each commander. They probably won't be super powerful, likely below bracket 2, but they will be way more functional for experienced players than what's already here. And at that point, I may have to adjust or even make some custom boss cards to better level out the power between players and bosses. If the thought of custom gaming pieces like this insert and life counter bring you joy, check out this playlist full of reviews for 3D printed goodies. Like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. You can also check out my Patreon for the upcoming updates to the Turtle Commander box, as well as to support the channel. Doing so will get you early videos and exclusive behind the scenes content. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.